here today. Going to go through a little shooting video, shooting touch, shooting form. Just been doing some coaching recently and kind of found that the base for a lot of kids, a lot of athletes these days isn't great. I feel like I had a great coach when I was that age that taught me the correct way to shoot. But I just want to give some tips, some pointers of what maybe you could do better if you're looking to be a more consistent shooter or just be a better shooter in general. All right, so we're going to start talking about the base. It's okay to have pointed feet, like you go other direction. You see a lot of NBA players, a lot of players do shoot like this. I don't recommend at all. Feet facing the ring as much as you can. I think I shoot a little to the side when I shoot, but most importantly, your feet will dictate where your shoulders are pointing. And you want your shoulders pointing towards the basket, as we can't shoot with our shoulders facing away. That will drag us across. If we're facing square to the basket, you want your right shoulder a little bit ahead of your left. You don't want to be shooting like this. That doesn't make sense. We want to be right shoulder a little bit ahead, which means our right foot can be a little bit in front of our left foot for our dominant hand. If we're a lefty, obviously it's the other way around. So we're here. Our base is set, shoulder width apart with our feet, feet even or right, a little bit ahead. Kind of using more about not just focusing on our feet, but more about thinking about our legs and our hip drive. You want to be driving with your hips, not so much just straight up with your knees. You want to be driving with your hips as you shoot to get that all in flow. So the next kind of part we can talk about that's stationary, I guess, and good is hand positioning and our shot pocket to like shooting pocket kind of placement, right? So, I mean, Ray Allen's kind of the biggest example of, you know, the dip and how like he shoots like that, but that's a one-off. That's an outlier, right? Ray Allen is Ray Allen. There's not any other Ray Allen. So one of my coaches when I was younger had always talked about shooting without a dip. That meant we're not dropping the ball, the catching here and shooting here. We're not, and taking this part out. The reasoning behind that is because this movement creates more movement, and the more we move when we shoot, the more things that can go wrong. That's why it's kind of difficult for longer limbed players to perfect shooting, because there's so much more that can go wrong as they shoot. So that's why I try and teach the little movement as possible. So when we shoot a free throw, if we go here to here, not much can go wrong. So you're kind of more consistent. That's the whole idea behind the no dip. Taking away this part, yeah, sometimes you can get rhythm from this, but rhythm more so comes from our feet and our legs. So this dip part and the ball movement is very, very important. If we can eliminate the movement, if we can eliminate this, we don't want it coming from our side. We want it to be straight up and down, the least movement as possible. Oh, it's just choked. A lot of kids, when they go to shoot, I start like this. And now I reference this to maybe shooting a gun, shooting a slingshot or water pistol, that you need to have a loaded wrist. You have to have your wrist loaded, which is in this kind of cocked position. If we go to shoot and it's not loaded like this, we bring the ball up, we then have to adjust before we shoot to then get that ball off like we need to. But that creates inconsistency because we have to do more as we shoot. So prepare to shoot before you shoot and load your gun before you shoot. Shooting is basketball. You want to have your wrist loaded before you catch the ball, so then we can get straight into our shot with a nice backspin. If we're not loaded, it then becomes another step where shooting we have to worry about, more to think about, more to go wrong. I can talk about our guide hand for a bit, but simply put, like, it's a guide hand and we don't want it messing with the shot. It just rests on the side of the shot. An advanced tip that when you look at some pro players, because this guide hand can get involved, it can turn, like people are getting the habit of it. Steph Curry is the biggest example. When he goes to shoot, if I face the camera straight, when he goes to shoot this guide hand, he flicks his guide thumb just to make sure this hand doesn't get involved or twist at all that messes with the shot. And there's a big video on YouTube about it. he'll go up and shoot. As his ball comes out, he'll just tuck his right thumb in, just like this. Not a big movement, not a twist, no twist of the hand, just tucks the right thumb, and that just eliminates that hand getting involved, that thumb flicking and messing with the rotation of the ball. Now, I was talking about our dip earlier, and this point, it also helps not to dip, have a loaded wrist, and have our elbow straight. Our elbow, I say has to be, doesn't have to be. It's not wrong or right to have it pointed, but you want it pointing straight to the ground, vertical to the ground, right? If our elbow is out here, pointing to the side, when we go up to shoot, it can tend to drag across, and if your ball isn't spinning backwards, that kind of means that your elbow isn't vertical to the ground. It's outwards, and it's dragging that ball across, and we're probably finishing like this if we have our elbow out. That's probably the biggest habit fault that I see in a lot of kids learning to shoot, that their elbow is out for whatever reason. It just feels like they have more power to shoot, but you really want to get under that ball and have it pointing towards the ground, so then we can then shoot the ball up instead of pushing it out. We want to shoot, not push. And that moves into my next point, that we want to finish up here. If we are shooting and that comes out and we're like this, and our last movement we're up here to try and correct our form, we've shot the ball wrong. This point is good, but you want to get to that point just from shooting. You don't want to have to shoot the ball down here and then bring this up, which is what to learn it's okay, but once we've understand it enough, we want to shoot and finish in that position. We don't want to be shooting at here and then drag it back. We're going to get into my like shooting touch workout now. Try and do this at least once a week. Just good to always, get your form work in, to keep your form consistent and make sure you're not getting into any bad habits. So what we're going to do here first is make 10 single hand shots, working the height of the shot and making sure our backspin is right. So we'll start here into 10 here. And my rebounder will be a great help. Really trying to emphasize, thank you baby, the arc on the shot. 3. So set point, up, and shoot. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. You don't want to be too close, but you don't want to be too far. Kind of on the charge or one step back. It's kind of the great space for this. Emphasizing the height, aiming for swishes. 9, 10. So next one now, same thing, but we're just bringing that guide hand on. Still want to start in our set point and be loaded, right? Knees a little bent into our shot. Everything sync, trying to hold our follow through until that ball goes through the ring, or preferably hits the ground. Making sure we're locking out our elbow, snapping our wrist. Ooh. Not like that. 4. Still emphasizing the height on the shot. Making 10. If you want to work your form more, you can always do more makes, 15, 20, but I'm going to get on to the next part here. Oh, get in there. I'm going to make 3 in a row from every second hash point. So 1, 2, 3, free throw, and then 1, 2, 3 down the other side, making 3 in a row. Form shooting, so no jumping, just trying to perfect, work on our form. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Best rebounder in the world. get up. 2. Making sure we're eyes on the back of the ring when we shoot. Follow through, snap at the back of the ring. 3. Oh, yuck. It's okay to finish forward on your shot as well. You'll notice that I kind of lean forward, take a step. You always want to be finishing forward, not sideways or back. Straight up and down is good. Finishing forward just gets in a good habit of not fading. If I can make a shot here, be nice. 1, 2, 3. So the free throw, you'll notice that I get it right here in my shot pocket before I shoot. I think the best free throw shooter in the NBL is Nathan Sobey, and he does this very well. His is even a little maybe higher than mine. But the less movement, the better in our shot. 3. Everything straight, everything locked in, but also shooting freely. We don't want to be tight, feel all restricted when we shoot. All right, so a couple things here that'll just help with working on all what I've talked about that I do with my athletes. The first one is our hip swivel into our shot. So this kit works on keeping our ball high, keeping our shoulders facing the ring. So I'm here, I'm low. You want to flip your hips and your feet so they face the wall, and then flip them back nice and quick. So a bit this way, keeping my shoulders forward and back, nice and quick. Just like this, and the ball doesn't move. I don't dip at all. I keep it right here, hands in good position, wrist loaded. 1, 2, into my shot. Focusing on not dipping the ball, keeping our shoulders forward. Eyes on the ring, into our shot. Oh, we'll make a couple here in a second. Also making sure we're shooting at the apex of our jump or on the way up, not when we're coming down. Here's one of my habits. I shoot a little on the way down, especially when closer, and you can flip the other way as well to work on it. Good set point, nice and quick into our shot. And the next one here, we'll start at the top of the key. Very much similar, but we take 3 hops on 1 foot, not letting that ball drop, focusing on the same thing, high finish. This is also working our balance too. If you don't bring the other foot down, always working on that 1 foot. So it's 3 hops, 1, 2, 3, straight into our shot. Not letting that ball come down out of my shot pocket. Changing feet each time, working both sides. 1, 2, 3, into our shot. I don't do this one all the time, but it's really good to work our form. 1, 2, 3, into our shot. We'll do one more here. Not letting that ball dip, staying low, getting to our shot nice and quick. 1, 2, 3, shot. Nice. Just talking about footwork for a quick second. When we're getting past the ball or running to the ball, as a righty, you always want to try and step left, right into our shot. So our right foot is forward compared to our left. Lefty, you want to go right, left for the same reason. So our left is a little forward. But you always want to attack the ball, feet attack the ball, hands ready, wrist loaded, attack the ball into our shot. Okay, so the last part here I'm going to talk about before we get into the rest of my workout is our positioning for our shot. I coach a lot of young athletes, so some of them still tend to shoot from like their chin area or their chest, which is good. As you get older and get stronger, you can develop more to raise that ball up. But I've always thought a good shot is ball just above the eye, obviously so you can see the rim. But having a high elbow allows us to shoot the ball and not push it out. I find that some kids, when they shoot from here, they push and they never really get the right arc on the shot. Lifting that ball up above your eyes allows you to kind of propel the ball in the air easier. Then here, shooting from our chin, chest area becomes more of a push than a shot. That's why I'm always saying, shoot the ball, don't push it, and don't place it in the ring. You always want the ball up here and then shoot it so it's going high. I find if you try and place or push, it's flat and we never really get the outcome we want. So lifting that ball up, kind of just above your eye level, you still want it straight, just above your eye level, allows us to get under the ball a bit easier than shooting our chin. Obviously it takes some strength, it's harder to do, but that's why I preach form over being able to shoot three-pointers. You don't want to just be chucking the ball from the three-point line with no form, because you'll just be inconsistent and it'll never work out. So you've got to perfect your form as much as you can, but I kind of say the way you shoot your free throw is how you want to shoot on every spot on the court. So until you can shoot your the three like you shoot a free throw, nice and good form, you don't really want to be chucking up threes or practicing threes all too often with bad form, because that is just bad habits. So get your form down pat until you think it's at a good level for you, until you're happy with how you're shooting, and then you can start practicing the threes with perfect form. All right, getting into the rest of my shooting workout now. It is meant to be my off day, so not going too crazy, but just getting kind of my spots in, mid-range pull-ups, threes, on the move a little, just, you know, feel good workout. I'm trying to get 5 in a row at the end from all my spots. So feel free to join in, watch the video, otherwise, peace out. And that's it on our episode of Love and Basketball. Yeah. 5 in a row. Go on.